Have you ever felt your arm go numb for just a second and brushed it off like it was nothing? That's exactly what happened to John, a 72-year-old retired teacher from Ohio. One morning, while sipping his coffee, his left hand slipped. Just a little tremble. Probably just slept on it wrong, he thought. 2 days later, he was in the hospital. It was a minor stroke. The scary part? So many early signs of stroke look small, harmless, temporary, but they're not. And when it comes to a stroke, a few minutes can mean the difference between life and death, or losing the ability to speak, walk, or even recognize your loved ones. In this video, I'll walk you through 5 early warning signs that could save your life, real-life stories you'll never forget, and how to act fast before it's too late. But before we dive in, let me ask you, has something ever fell off in your body or mind, and you couldn't explain why? If this video feels important to you, drop a heart in the comments. Let's begin. 1. Sudden confusion or trouble speaking. Imagine you're in the middle of a conversation, maybe calling your daughter or chatting with a friend, and suddenly, your words don't come out right. You know what you want to say, but the words feel jumbled or worse, stuck. That's exactly what happened to Martha, a 68-year-old grandmother from Florida. She was calling her daughter, just like she did every morning. But that day, something was off. She started saying, I'm at, blue. Her voice trailed off. Her words didn't make sense. Her daughter paused. Mom, are you okay? There was a strange silence, then a slurred, I'm fine, but it didn't sound fine. Luckily, her daughter didn't wait. She called 911 immediately. The paramedics arrived in less than 10 minutes, and Martha was treated for a minor stroke within 45 minutes of the first sign. She made a full recovery, but only because someone recognized the warning fast enough. This is one of the clearest early signs of a stroke: confusion or trouble speaking, even if it only lasts a few seconds. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Sometimes it's just a pause, a word that doesn't come, a sentence that doesn't make sense. And too often, people ignore it. They laugh it off. Oh, I must be tired, or I'm just getting old. But this isn't just aging. This could be your brain trying to tell you something urgent. If this ever happens to you or someone near you, pause. Don't panic, but don't ignore it either. Ask someone to check your face. Is one side drooping? Are your words still slurred? If anything feels off, call for help. Time is everything. Let me say that again. Time is everything. The earlier a stroke is caught, the higher the chance of full recovery. We're talking about minutes that can protect your ability to speak, to think clearly, and to stay independent. So please, don't second-guess yourself. Don't brush it off. If this story made you think twice, if you just learned something new, type #fast in the comments to help spread awareness. Because someone you love might need this one day. And remember, when speech goes wrong, your brain is waving a red flag. Catch it before it's too late. Ready to learn the second red flag? Let's keep going. 2. Weakness or numbness on one side. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever felt your arm or leg suddenly go numb, like it just wasn't yours anymore? That's what happened to James, a retired firefighter from Michigan. He was trimming the hedges in his front yard, something he's done every spring for the past 30 years. But this time, halfway through, his left arm felt strange. Not painful, just weak. He dropped the shears without even realizing it. I must have slept wrong, he thought. Maybe a pinched nerve. He shook it off. He didn't want to bother his wife. But 2 hours later, his left leg started to feel heavy. He tripped going up the porch stairs. That's when his wife, Linda, called for help. At the hospital, they confirmed what he never expected. It was a warning stroke, a transient ischemic attack, or TIA. It was a sign that a much bigger stroke could be coming, and fast. Thankfully, they caught it in time. This is the thing about strokes. They don't always hit you like a lightning bolt. Sometimes it's a whisper, a slight weakness in your hand, a strange numbness in your cheek, a leg that doesn't feel quite right. And most of the time, people ignore it. They say it'll pass. They wait for it to go away. And sometimes it does. But the danger? That small warning could be the calm before a life-altering storm. Here's what you need to know. Sudden weakness or numbness, especially on one side of your body, is one of the most common early signs of stroke. That includes one arm that feels heavy or weak, a leg that won't lift properly, a sudden tingling in your face, especially just one side. And no, it's not always dramatic. Sometimes you can still walk, you can still move, but something just feels off, like you're not fully in control of your own body. That's when you take it seriously. Don't wait to see if it gets better. Don't take a nap hoping it'll go away. Call for help right away. Strokes don't wait. And every second your brain is without oxygen, cells are dying. But the good news? If you act fast, there's a real chance to reverse the damage, just like James. So the next time your arm feels weak or your leg gives out for no reason, don't explain it away. Recognize it for what it might be. A warning your body is screaming at you. And if this story opened your eyes, leave a comment with #OneSide below, because someone you care about might need to hear this too. All right, take a deep breath. We're just getting started. The next sign might surprise you even more. Let's keep going. 3. Trouble seeing in one or both eyes. Let me paint a picture for you. Susan was reading her favorite mystery novel, something she did every evening by the window, just as the sun started to set. But this time, something felt strange. She blinked a few times, rubbed her eyes. The words on the page had gone blurry. At first, she thought it was her glasses. Maybe dirty, maybe scratched. But when she looked up, the right side of the room had faded, like a curtain had dropped over it. "I can't see out of my right eye," she told her husband. Her voice was calm, but her hands were shaking. He thought she was just tired, maybe a migraine. But Susan knew something wasn't right. Within the hour, she was in the ER. The doctors confirmed it, a warning sign of stroke. Her vision loss hadn't come from her eyes. It came from her brain. Here's the truth that most people miss. Vision problems can be one of the earliest and most overlooked signs of stroke. Not all strokes start with slurred speech or numb limbs. Sometimes they start with what feels like an eye issue, but it's not about the eyes at all. If you suddenly lose vision in one eye, if you see double, if part of your field of vision just disappears, please do not wait. It doesn't matter if it clears up a few minutes later. That doesn't mean it's over. That could be a transient ischemic attack, or TI, a mini stroke, and it often comes before a major one. Think of it this way. If your brain was a house, a stroke is like someone turning off the electricity to one room. The lights go out, things don't work, and your body sends you signals like vision fading or going black in one eye to warn you. But you only get one chance to act quickly. Here's another real story. Harold, 75, was golfing when he noticed the flag on the green looked cut in half. Just the left side was gone. He thought it was the sun in his eyes. He drank water, rested a bit, and kept playing. 2 days later, he had a full stroke. And this time, it affected his speech and balance. If he had gotten help earlier, he might have avoided it. So here's what I want you to remember. If your vision suddenly changes, even just for a few seconds, treat it like an emergency. Don't brush it off. Don't wait to see if it clears up. Get checked immediately, because your eyes might be fine, but your brain might not be. And if this story helped you see things a little clearer, no pun intended, leave a comment with #VisionWarning below. You never know who might read it and take action just in time. All right, we've covered speech, weakness, and vision. But there's another red flag, one that many people confuse with anxiety or fatigue. Let's keep going. You want to hear this. For sudden dizziness, trouble walking, or loss of balance. It happened to James on a quiet Sunday morning. He was watering the tomato plants in his backyard, just like he'd done every weekend for years. The air was crisp, the sun was gentle, and he was humming a tune from his Navy days. But when he turned to walk back toward the house, the world tilted. "I thought the ground moved," he later said. "But it was me." His knees buckled. He grabbed the garden hose for balance. For a second, he stood still, waiting for it to pass. It didn't. His body felt heavy, off-center, like something inside had shifted. His wife, Claire, saw him stumble through the window. By the time she reached him, he was gripping the fence, trying to steady himself. He kept saying, "I'm fine, just a little dizzy." But Claire didn't wait. She remembered what their doctor once said. If someone suddenly loses balance or coordination, especially with no warning, don't guess. Call for help. At the ER, James was diagnosed with a minor stroke. He was lucky. He got there fast enough for treatment to work. Here's what people often get wrong. They think stroke only happens with numbness or slurred speech. But the brain controls everything, including your ability to stay upright and walk. So when a stroke strikes the part of the brain that controls movement or balance, it can feel like sudden dizziness, trouble walking in a straight line, leaning to one side without meaning to, feeling like the room is spinning. And sometimes it's subtle. You may not fall. You might just feel off for a few seconds. But even that could be a big red flag. Let's talk about Ruth. She's 70 and active, walks every morning. But one day, she felt like her left foot wasn't lifting properly. It was like I had forgotten how to walk straight, she said. She thought maybe she was tired, or maybe her shoes were worn out. But the next morning, she couldn't keep her balance on the front steps. Her daughter rushed her to the hospital. It was another TIA, transient ischemic attack, a mini stroke. Ruth was treated quickly and is fully recovered. But if she had waited another day, it could have been much worse. So what should you do if it happens to you, or someone you love? First, stop and sit down. Don't try to walk it off. Second, check if there are other symptoms like weakness in one side, slurred speech, or blurry vision. And third, even if it's only dizziness, don't assume it's nothing. Call 911 or get to the hospital immediately. Dizziness can come from many things: inner ear issues, low blood pressure, dehydration. But when it's sudden and unexplained, stroke must be ruled out first. Time matters. The faster you get help, the better your chances of recovery. So here's a question for you. Have you or someone you know ever felt suddenly dizzy or lost balance without knowing why? If you've ever brushed it off, and now you're thinking twice, drop a comment with #BalanceMatters below. Let's spread the word. You never know who might need to hear this today. And now, let's move to the final red flag. One that's often the most terrifying of all. But knowing what it means could save your life. Ready? Let's go. 5. Sudden, severe headache with no known cause. Susan had always been strong. She raised 4 kids, worked 2 jobs, and still managed to bake cookies for the neighbors every Christmas. So when she called her son one evening and said, "Something's wrong with my head," he knew it wasn't just a regular headache. "It hit me like a hammer," she told him, "right behind my eyes." Out of nowhere, she wasn't nauseous. She hadn't bumped her head. No fever. Just a blinding, throbbing pain that made her wince with every heartbeat. Her son, Mike, didn't hesitate. He hung up and called 911 immediately. That decision may have saved her life. At the hospital, doctors discovered she had experienced a hemorrhagic stroke caused by a blood vessel bursting in the brain. That headache? It was the brain's cry for help. A headache that comes out of nowhere, sudden, intense, and different from anything you felt before, is not something to sleep off or wait out, especially after the age of 60. We're not talking about your usual tension headache or even a migraine. Stroke-related headaches are often described as the worst headache of my life. Sharp, stabbing pain often on one side, followed by confusion, weakness, or vision changes. Let me share what happened to Darnell, a 74-year-old former truck driver from Alabama. He was watching a football game when a crushing pain hit the back of his head. He said it felt like something exploded inside. He thought maybe it was high blood pressure. He drank water, lay down, and waited. By the time his wife found him 30 minutes later, he was unconscious. Darnell survived, but his recovery was long and difficult. He lost partial vision in one eye, and he wishes he'd gone to the hospital the moment it began. Here's what we often forget. The brain doesn't feel pain like other parts of the body. So when it sends out a pain signal, especially sudden and severe, it's waving a red flag. Your brain is trying to warn you. And the sooner you act, the more of your brain and your life you can protect. So what should you do if this happens? 1. Don't take painkillers and wait. 2. Don't try to sleep it off. 3. Get help immediately. Call 911 or go to the ER. Even if it turns out to be something less serious, like a migraine or sinus issue, you've done the right thing. Because when it comes to your brain, it's better to be safe than sorry. So now let me ask you, have you ever had a headache so strange, so sudden, you knew something wasn't right? If that moment sticks in your memory, share #headache warning in the comments. You might just help someone recognize a symptom in time. And if this series of stories has opened your eyes, even just a little, hit that follow button. Because knowing the signs of stroke isn't just knowledge, it's power. The power to act, the power to help someone, the power to save a life. Let's keep spreading that power together. Let's quickly go over the 5 early warning signs of stroke one more time. Sudden confusion or trouble speaking, numbness or weakness on one side, vision problems, dizziness or coordination issues, sudden, severe headache. You don't have to be a doctor to save a life. You just need to notice and act. Because when it comes to stroke, timing is everything. Acting fast can mean the difference between full recovery and a lifetime of regret. If you're watching this for someone you love, send it to them. Let them know you care. Let them know that knowing these signs could save their life. And if you've ever experienced any of these warning signs, or if this video made you think of someone you know, don't keep it to yourself. Share your story in the comments. Let's keep each other safe. Let's talk about these things. Let's make awareness stronger than fear. Follow Senior Health Secrets for more weekly tips that could make all the difference for you or someone you love.